sunshine. You're welcome to Enterprise Television, your daily dose of good vibes, great stories, and everything you need to kickstart your day with papers and a smile. I am Henry Igwebike, and we're live and ready to light up your morning. Joining us right here is Barrister Vance Ofeli, Barrister, Law Public Affairs Analyst. Good morning to you, Barrister, and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
All right, and just to let you know, we're starting off with our newspapers right now, and in the jiffy after then would be our main conversation. But please do well to be part of what we do. Have a say in what we say. You can always reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may equally like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Let's start off today with the Guardian newspaper, and straight up to our talking point for today, a scandal. And we have that President Bola Tinubu won't allow Akpabio to step aside, say senators. Barrister Vance Ofeli, the scandal is still written all over the life of Senator Godswill Akpabio, and it won't go away anytime soon. But senators, of course, working with their colleague, saying that the president would not allow Akpabio to step aside. Don't you think they are all being complicit?
What's the president's business in Akpabio's affair? You know, this will tell you that democracy have been messed up. Okay. They're saying the president will not allow. That means all through before now, the president has been the one giving Akpabio instruction. I mean, we know that already, how they passed the state of emergency declaration, rubber stamped it carelessly, and threw Rivers State into illegality. So the senators, they have the audacity to tell us that in the Natasha's case, with all the scandals, where Akpabio is supposed to step aside because you cannot be a judge in your own case. No more do that in Kasasua. You should not be a judge in your own case. But they are telling us now that the president will not allow him to step aside. Okay, is the president supporting the Senate President on the accusation of immorality and harassment? Okay, shouldn't the president be encouraging a fair play where, you know, he will step aside and have his name cleared and allow for investigation to kick in so that he can be either inculpated or exculpated or exonerated? But you see that our politics is a dangerous one. The president needs Akpabio for so many things because he knows that Akpabio have the capacity to absorb all wrongs and criticism and still be doing the wrong things. Okay, he needs him. And he needs him in a very selfish way, not to project Nigeria or project the aims and aspirations of the citizens, but to protect personal and selfish interests.
But that's not peculiar to us. Everywhere in the world, even in the United States of America, Donald Trump will do everything possible to ensure that the leader of the House is his ally, his buddy, so he could, of course, pass through whatever it is he wants to get through to the people. So don't you think, for good governance sake, just to ensure that the dividends of democracy gets to people, it's important that the president should do as much as he can to support?
Not in terms of scandals like this, scandals of you know, harassment. The American law does not support that. When you, I mean, it's even, they call it the society for the women, because it's a society that frowns strongly against any kind of harassment, sexual or whatsoever, workplace, you know, domestic, gender-based harassment. It's a society that frowns heavily against it. So I do not think if this had happened in the United States, in fact, if it happened in the United States, Akpabio would have resigned, or the Senate President or whatever, Congress would have resigned, because he'll be forced to resign, because the scandal is so huge that he needs to give way. Here, they're not even asking Akpabio to resign. They're even saying just step aside, you know, step down from there, let investigation happen, let everything, let's see, and clear your name, you know. But they are not able to do that. And the senators are telling us now, the audacity, that the president will not even allow it to happen. So we don't really have a democratic environment. Our environment is not democratic at all. Just because you need him to get other things passed, you will sacrifice the people's, you know, you will sacrifice that office itself, integrity of that office, and every other thing you will sacrifice and send it to the dogs, just because you need him to rubber stamp every decisions you will take. The president ought to support that he steps down, to allow investigation to, but we're not practicing that kind of democracy. We're not there. We're not there at all.
Wow. We're not there at all after so many years of trying and hoping that our democracy works. But let's get to the Vanguard newspaper and straight on to our talking point for today. Edun woes international investors. We have a rider there that Cardoso to investors. CBN strengthen processes to sustain confidence in the Nigerian economy. I do not know. We've analyzed this a dozen times here, right here on Enterprise Television, how that the duo of Cardoso and Edu are really not doing the job they should be doing in ensuring that the economy, takes the right toll it should take. But every day they come to tell us that they are hoping to create an enabling environment for foreign direct investments to come in, but it's not working. Is it that they are oblivious to the fact that what they are doing is not working?
They keep hoping against hope. You understand? No matter the intellectual work on paper, the intellectual strategies and everything they put together to revive the economy, they'll keep hoping against hope. Because a country that have no electricity, it doesn't matter your intellection. It doesn't matter how good you are in, wooing investors and catalyzing them to get on board. Of course, they will promise you here and there, but when they look at your energy sector, it is energy that determines the future of an economy. So you all the Cardoso Edun strategy that hoping to. You keep hoping against hope. Because those you are talking to will be laughing at you. Just two questions they will ask you. Political stability and energy availability. You have failed already. They saw the way you were fighting with Dangote, who is your own indigenous investor. They saw the way your own agency, how your agency held Dangote to the jugular. Then you're not asking a multinational to come in. Okay, you have no plan for that business, energy. You have no plan for most of the facilities that they may require to be able to do business here. You have no ease of doing business. You have messed up everything. Your exchange, foreign exchange is not, your policies on foreign participation are having issues. They've seen how Emirates was stuck, could not repatriate funds and all that. Investors don't come like that.
And you think they can't take that risk? You think that there are no room for...
Not all of them. Not all of them will take the investors that can take that risk are the Chinese, the Indians, and the Lebanese. Because those ones have extractive mindsets. And when they are coming in, they are not coming in to better you. They are coming in to make profit, and profit, only profit. The few times you find a Japanese company do anything for a community is when they are forced to do so. They have no plan for CSR. They have no... When we're talking multinationals, we are not talking Indians, we are not talking Chinese, we are not talking Lebanese. We are saying an American company, for example. Okay, a British company, for example. Those were our mainstay before.
Yes.
As at the time they were here, the Chinese, the Lebanese, the Indians didn't have capacity.
Very well.
They were in poverty. Yes. As at the time those companies came here.
The Michelins, the Dunlops.
Yeah, the Michelins, the Dunlops, the Eleganzas, and all of them. When they were, these are British American companies, okay, that were doing business here, employed people, built estates, housing facilities. They came to stay. How many Indian companies, how many Lebanese companies have you seen building building some, or one of the communication giants in Nigeria? They have no single property. Everything is leased because they want to take a decision to just leave at any time. You understand? Those ones didn't come to stay even when they were making huge profit here. They still don't believe in this place. They still don't believe in this place. It was that same communication giant that made a projection of their profit when they came into Nigeria. of what they will make in a year, 2 years projection. What they were supposed to make in a year, they surpassed it by over 10 times. And their director left his country, South Africa, came here, and is still living here till today. But even with that, they still don't believe in this place. Because they look at the stability in policy. As bad as Buhari government was, it still kept Nigeria at the verge of the remnant of his destruction. Okay, Tinubu came and upturned it. So you move from buying fuel from 190 to 200 to 800, 900. So you see how unstable a country can be. It cannot happen anywhere in the world, in the first world nation, that price of goods will jump by almost 400%. Yes. It doesn't happen anywhere. It doesn't happen, not even stable, not anything. It can't be. Well, an investor that sees that may even have heart attack. Yes. So if I bring my money here, one day, overnight, I will have goods and services that can be reduced to nothing. That's what it means. It's too much risk. No, it's not what you can. Investors don't jump around like that. Before investors will come and invest, they look at the strain of your economy, the growth, the stability, how it impacts on business and politics. They will prune it. The Chinese are the ones that don't care about. They just see the opportunities, and you notice that most of those Chinese and Indian Lebanese companies that come around, they come around for natural resources, not really to do tight business. They just come to take what they buy over and export, just take them away. That's not what they come to do. That's why you cannot find them doing CSR or any other thing other than just. So that's not the kind of investment that will grow the economy. That's not the kind of investment even Cardoso and they are talking about. Not this Chinese thing, Lebanese thing. They're talking about companies that have capacity to turn around the economy. You understand? So they will keep failing because those companies cannot exist in an environment where energy is non-existent.
Now, while we talk about that, there's another story here that's very similar to the one we just discussed here. NLC to IMF delegation, your reforms inflict hunger, poverty on masses. Now, there's this viral video going around now on how that European countries, America, is trying as much as they can to keep Africa where it is. Look at the case of Burkina Faso, with all the man is doing that. There's this plot to really, take over the government and all. Now, the IMF, what do you really think? Should we trust the IMF as much as we are doing now? What have they really done anything good for Nigeria?
The IMF, they have an objective. They have an objective. It was through them that our naira was devalued to the point where it's no longer valuable. You understand? They issue very toxic economic advices, okay, which they know that they cannot adopt.
But don't you think they're doing it to protect their interests? Because over the years we've collected so much loans that we can't even pay. So maybe the advice is so that they can recoup back their...
To protect their interests, but they act as though they are providing solution to a problem. But when you look at it deeply, any solution that causes you to borrow, to keep borrowing, it's not a solution. Because it will keep you in debt. And once you are in debt, for as long as possible, you cannot be productive. It's like a man that have cancer and it's not treating it. It's not making any attempt to. The cancer cells are growing. They are spreading. Once the cancer cell spreads to the brain, that's the end. That's the end. Okay? So those advice don't really add up. We look at the advice from the fuel subsidy time. They were part of those who advised that should be removed.
Yes.
When it was removed, they started asking the government, why is the government selling that if they import with this, why would they be selling it? They are selling below cost price. That they are still paying subsidy. That they should remove it completely. Okay? Now, after everything, the thing landed at 900 plus at the end of the day. They forget that when you are paying subsidy, it's part of servicing the public. There is no government that exists anywhere that will not service them. You have to service the public. Because the reason for that government is the public. So you don't say remove this. Subsidy must come in one way or the other. It must be there. So but we heeded to that advice and see where we are now. We are not able to put anything together again. The whole country is messed up. Everywhere is messed up. It's difficult now to even provide economic solution to the Nigerian problem. Not only have things gone bad, you don't even have the energy to start to rebuild.
And nothing can be done to overhaul the situation.
Something can be done to overhaul the situation, but it requires serious sacrifice. It requires serious sacrifice. This government seems not to be doing that. Seems not to be aware of how to go about the whole thing. Okay? We must go back to a point where people can feed themselves. We must go back to that point where the government is able to invest heavily in agriculture and security. We must go back there. Security and agriculture. If you're able to put that, then you can have a yield in the next 5 years. Then from that yield, you can begin to rebuild. Take care of energy. Once you're able to take care of energy and there's now constant power supply, you are pushing it gradually. People will start to come out from poverty gradually. Because there's energy, there's food, food inflation has reduced, price is now normal and stabilized. Then people are able to feed, then there will be employment because there will not be a value chain. Yes. People selling to others, selling to, you understand? Then you need to build back the variables that have been lost. From there, you can now project further what you intend to do, infrastructure and others. Okay? So let the people now be okay. But what we have now is a terrible situation because even in this hard time, the 70,000 naira NSC, whatever, not all states are paying it as we speak.
Yes.
So where are we going to start from? And even if they are all paying it, how many percent of Nigerians are in that bracket are employed by government? Whom are going to? The number of persons employed that are paid that money, is that enough to kickstart the economy? It's not. In fact, it even have a tendency to drive inflation further, cost inflation. Because cost inflation will usually come in when there's a feeling that people's income have been increased. Then the transporter will increase.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The market woman will increase. Everybody will begin to increase mindlessly. Because now there is a semblance of increment in welfare of the people. So people will start to increase, and that behavior will lead to cost inflation for the meantime. Then if the government is able to do every other thing we're talking about, the country can move forward. But as it is now, there's no forward movement whatsoever. We're just in one place.
All right, so while we continue to hope that we get out of that place and hopefully, kickstart the country. Finally, let's look at the Punch newspaper. INEC moves to legalize voting without PVC. There are no details about that, but we'd love to believe this is technologically driven. Possibly, there's the move for the APC is saying they are working with INEC to ensure that Nigerians in diaspora vote. And secondly, that we can vote without the PVC, which means there is an app, if it's possible, to just vote from your house, wherever you find yourself. But do you really see transparency?
Even if you are going to vote without PVC, there must be accreditation now. They must certify that you are a registered voter. Yes, if you're not a registered voter, so are they saying that everybody should jump on the app, if it's going to be an app to just vote? Not everybody is eligible. Some people are not of age. Okay? Those who are of age cannot all jump on the portal. I don't think that is I think you have to be a registered voter before you can. Like the NBA, the platform we use to vote at the NBA is online. You vote from your house, from anywhere you are with your phone. But you must be a registered member of NBA. Otherwise, everybody, the street people, everybody will come and vote. So you have to belong to a branch, a chapter of the NBA. You have to at least be on the database, okay? And you have to be a lawyer. Okay, so if we are going to vote without, because we don't have PVC for NBA elections, we don't. We just use our phones. You use your Supreme Court number. Every lawyer has a Supreme Court number. And that Supreme Court number is what we key in. And your name will appear. You see your name and everything. Then you start to check on the box. For all the candidates you are voting, you'll be on a straight line box. You just click on the ones you are voting and submit. And once you submit, it goes into the database and it counts against those persons whom you are, it counts for those persons, yes, counts for those persons you have voted for, and we are watching it. So nobody is reading anything. We are seeing it at the screen. As the person who is leading on the screen. The moment it starts going down, we are seeing it, you know. So that should have been 8. So it's possible to actually vote without PVC. But all I know is that there's no way they will do. You have to be a registered voter. Otherwise, people from other countries will start to vote.
Yes, very true.
You will have to establish sovereignty and franchise. So that has to be established. So I think it's a good thing to say that we are going to be voting without the PVC, meaning we are not going to have queues, we are not going to have ballot box, snatching of ballot boxes. All the perennial issues during the election will be de-escalated. So we'll just, vote from there. And that will give the system integrity. As long as we have strong firewalls, the INEC must invest in the best firewalls to secure the cyberspace on the day of voting.
Yes, but someone said, just digression actually, Deji Adenyoju Esquire said that if President Bola Tinubu was not defeated in 2023 when he was not in control, who says that he would be defeated when he is the one conducting the election? So with the no PVC and the technology that will be embedded with it, do you still see transparency given what Deji had said?
Yeah, you see the human factor too. Because even if you use firewalls, okay, people wrote those softwares. People wrote those software that the firewalls are using, and they know how to bypass it. It's people that wrote it. Even if those who wrote it tend to secure it, there are other persons with higher technological power that may break it, who were not even part of those who wrote it. So the human factor is there. I mean, the fact that you are using digital space does not mean they cannot be rigging.
So how is it done in the United States? Because theirs is quite transparent. They still,
theirs is
come to the queue, they vote.
Yes,
like
hard copy.
Ballot boxes, ballot votes.
Yes.
Months before the time of the real election. So
the essential workers start to vote first.
Okay.
By post. Because on the day of election, they will be at work. Nurses, doctors, professionals, those essential workers and all that. There's a date where they start voting first. And but why is this in the United States? Also because they all have social security number. Okay.
Okay, so, just similar to what you talked about the NBA.
Yes.
There's a registered accreditation for everyone, which is the social security number.
They have social security. Okay. And that social security is very, very important. There's nothing you will do in the US that when you get to that point, when they ask you social security, if you don't have it, that's where your journey ends. Even when you are filling things online, then sometimes they make provision for people who don't have it. People who are, like for their driver's license, for example. If you get to the social security number, if you have it, you impute it, you continue. If you don't have, they give you options. Do you have I-94? I-94 is for visitors.
Okay.
So you go and click on that option. You don't have the I-94, you have something closer. Maybe a veteran or something. You have those who came in for missions, who don't have, and they have something. They'll put all those options for you. That's because that everybody drives in the US. You can't actually live in the US if you don't drive, because the Uber is very expensive. You cannot rely. Uber is crazy. You can't even rely on it to live all through. So they make provision for all that. So it's easier for you to have use a social security number to operate, and they get it. While here, the NIN is not really a requirement in our election process. It's not the NIN is supposed to be the equivalent of social security. Many people don't even have that one. Some people have it, they don't know it, because it's not, no strong national policy have been built around the NIN. Except for when you want to get an international passport, that's why they ask you for the NIN, and maybe
or driver's license.
Yeah, maybe for in the bank.
Though now students, though, you want to write your JAMB, your YA.
Yeah, they're asking for it. Yeah, gradually.
When a child is born,
yeah,
it goes to.
Yeah, gradually it's beginning to make sense. The NIN, yeah, people are taking it more serious because virtually everything now they're asking for it. They're asking for, and the more they include it in our activities, the stronger it becomes. At a point, it will now maybe represent your maybe voting number, or voting identity. You understand? But yeah, let's keep up, you know, having it where we, by the time we include it in our space to a point where it could be the main data we can even use to do the counting in the long run. So I think that is where we're going.
All right, let's just hope this works. Technology is there to make life easier. That ESA of the intention to allow that happen is there. We truly do hope that 2027 it would be one election that would be transparent, or possibly beat that of 1993 if it's ever possible with regards to transparency. That's all we have for today. We'd love to say thank you so very much, Barrister
My pleasure.
And just to let you know, Barrister Vansofeli will be here to take us on our main conversation. Of course, we'll be joined by Barrister Tunji Abdul Hamid. When we return, opposition weakens as more PDP governors, senators eye the APC. It's still Enterprise Morning. Please don't go anywhere.